Okay, let's bring out a question to show how it works. This question says, using the method of linear regression, compute the variable cost per unit and the fixed portion of maintenance cost based on the following information below. The information below, we are given your production volume, which is the number of units produced, and also their corresponding maintenance costs. So what it means is that this maintenance cost we have here are missed costs. Remember we mentioned this in the earlier video, missed cost like this, which means it has an element of both variability and fixed in it. So the examiner wants us to separate the variable from the fixed. So what he's basically asking you to calculate is the variable cost per unit, which is the B, like we mentioned, which is the B, yeah, and the fixed cost, which is A. These are the two constants that do not change. So from this question, we can go ahead and calculate. We are given the volume for 5 months, October to December, and also the maintenance for 5 months, October to December. So we can go ahead to calculate, and so using the function, what is the formula for A? Formula for A, which is our fixed cost. Formula for A says A is equal to Y plus BX. So you can see here that we just made A subject of the formula using the cost function. We just only made A subject of the formula. So the only additional thing you need to add is that there is a Y bar, it's an X bar, where X or Y stands for your sum of total of Y divided by number of items. X is equal to sum of X divided by number of items. B, you need to calculate B before you can calculate A. So what is B? B, which is our variable cost per unit, the formula says N summation XY minus summation X. That is when we say summation X, means sum all the items of X, sum all the items in Y, multiplied together, all divided by N summation S squared. So where this is saying this sum this minus summation X all squared. You can see there's a difference. This one says sum all the items in X and square it, whereas this first one on the left says N multiplied by sum of all the S squared. So by this, for us to calculate B, the columns we have will be X, we have a column for Y, we have a column for XY, we have a column for S squared. From the question we have, you should be able to pause and go back and check the question and look at the question and come back to the solution. We have 30, the volumes now, volume produced, which is our X, 9367, Y 680, 740, 880, 950, 820. Sum of multiplication of X and Y will give you 2400, 37,000, 74 800, 88 350, 54 940. So this is like x multiplied by y. We give you these values. Then this says s square means s times itself twice. So it's like saying 30 times 30 should give us 900. 25, that's 50 times 50, 7225. It's this is supposed to be 8649 4489. Sum all these items, will have 325 40 70 275 490 23763. So we have this. We can insert this into our formula. So to calculate B, because we need to calculate B, you need to calculate B before you can calculate A. Because inside the formula to calculate A, you have B inside of it. So the need for you to calculate B before A. Okay, so inserting the values into B. B is equal to N stands for number of items, which are the number of items here are usually in each of the column. The number of items is just 5. So 5 multiplied by summation of xy, which is 23275 rather 490, minus summation of x 325 multiplied by summation of y 4070. The denominator 5 into summation of s square, summation of s square, which is, we have the last column, which is summation of s, which is s square. Then you sum it up, which gives us 23763 minus summation of s all squared. So it's like saying this summation of x column, which is this 325 multiplied by 325, or you can just say 325 square raised to power 2. That will give us 325 multiplied by 325. Solve all this. Please apply the board mass. Board mass will help you. If I put this in proper, it will give us 4.1141. 4.1, so sorry, 4.147. So we'll be able to get our B as 4.147. We can now insert it. Please apply board mass when doing this, which means I'll first of all multiply 5, deal with the numerator, the ones at the top, 5 times 275 490, you get the figure you keep. You also say 325 times 4070, you get the figure. Then you multiply, then you minus this from this. You do the same thing below also. That will give you your final answer of 4.147. I think, yes, 4.147. So we can calculate A now, which is our fixed cost. The formula says y bar minus bx bar. What is y? Y is equal to sum of items of y divided by n, which is 40, 70. We've already done that. Divide by items in y is equal to divide by 5. Number of items should give us our answer. Then the same thing applies to x is equal to summation of x items divided by the number of items there, which is also 5. So we have 325 divided by 5. We have here for y bar, the value is 48814. X bar, we have 65. So we can insert into the formula now to calculate for A. Therefore, A is equal to y bar is 814 minus B, we've calculated before, says 1.147 into what is y bar. I'm calculating this formula. I'm just trying to insert the values into this formula to calculate A. So x bar becomes 65. So if you solve all this, the values of A will give you 544.45. This is how you compute your fixed cost. This is your fixed cost and your variable cost per unit using the least square method. So what it means is that if I ask you again that next year the number of units produced, for instance, examiner can say next year the number of units produced will no longer be 65. Probably the number of units produced, or let's say we just give us a figure, let's use any random figure, like the number of units produced will become about 200 units. What will be your total cost next year if 200 units were produced? Like we said, irrespective of the change in number of units, our cost, fixed cost, and our variable cost per unit will not change. So I'll just bring in my cost function. My cost function says, the formula says y, which stands for total cost, is equal to A plus bx. Remember, y stands for total cost, and that is the total cost. Examiner is asking you, what will be your total cost next year? So we say total cost next year. What will be your total cost next year if 200,000 units, 200 units were produced? So it's as simple as saying y is what they're asking me, I don't know. But A is my fixed cost. Whatever it was in the previous year, assuming what the question we just saw refers to refers to the current year,